And a good afternoon to you from Wake Med Soccer Park on an 88-degree, partly cloudy afternoon. It's WPSL Carolina Conference Showdown today here on YouTube between the 3-0 Carolina Rapids and the 2-1 Oak City United. Hi again, everybody. Chris Sheeman, glad to be with you, along with Zach Burley and Kevin Gotuso. Let's meet the starting lineups for both of these teams. We'll start with the Rapids, coming off that 4-0 defeat of the Lady Dynamo on the 3rd. In front of the net is Abby Stapleton. Also starting today for the Rapids is number 2, Dominique Martinez. Number 6, Mary Givens. Number 8, Kelly Flanders. Number 11, Kate Hickson. Number 16, Elena Jefferson. Number 18, Lauren Ellis. Number 20, Morgan Mozak. Number 21, Megan Green. Number 23, Logan Culver. And number 24, Riley Orr. Starting today for Oak City at 2-1, coming off that 3-1 defeat against Charleston on Sunday. In front of the net is Susie Zagante. Also starting today for Oak City is number 1, Michelle Casold. Number 13, Lauren Griffiths. Number 5, Madison Hoops. Number 8, Rachel Golden. Number 17, Anna Fish. Number 18, Claire Griffiths. Number 23, Ellen McAdams. Number 26, Paige Griffiths. Number 6, Remy Schwartz. And number 16, Frances Henshaw. That's the starters for both of these teams. The Rapids in the scarlet and Oak City in the white, as we're just about set to bring in Mr. Burley. And important game, Zach, as the Rapids tied at the top of the table with Asheville and Oak City chasing them 3 points back.
Absolutely, and you know, this is another in-state matchup, which is what it's so great about having such a regionalized conference.
Yeah, Carolina, as they get going quickly on the attack, Jefferson leaves it in the middle. Taking it from distance is Mozak, and that will go out of play for a goal kick. So Susie Zagante allowed the 3 goals in the first half against Charleston. Really the only blemish on the season for her, as she gets set to take this goal kick. Folks, don't forget, we'd love to hear from you on YouTube. A lot of fan corrections in the first couple of games, which, hey, we love them. You know, whatever you have to say, feel free to use the free YouTube chat. It's a little bit easier if you're on a laptop or desktop, but you can also use it on a phone or tablet. Probably not so much on like a Roku or something like that. Green off the turnover, getting the counter going. Carolina Rapids from Greensboro, so just west of 40, about an hour or so. So not a bad trip for them, although they've been busy on the road. This is their 4th of 5th straight games to open the 2018 season. 5 straight on the road, then 5 straight at home. Trying to get something going there was Claire Griffiths. Oak City stays with it. It's McAdams now. Back to Claire. Claire sends it into the box, and that's going to be wide right of the keeper, Abby Stapleton. Let's talk about Abby Stapleton, Zach. Entering her sophomore year at Charlotte. Last year as a freshman, 1.13 goals against average, 81% save percentage, 7 clean sheets. She didn't allow a goal in the conference tourney. They went to PKs and lost in the championship game. What a freshman year for her.
Yeah, it's incredible, and what's one of the things you want to build your team around as a confident goalkeeper. That really helps, not just as denying goals, but also the confidence of your defenders and the midfielders as well. So the one thing that you want to start out with is somebody that's very confident, very strong between the sticks, and that's what they have.
So like Zagante, Stapleton strong in front of the net. She's their lone option here today as well. I don't believe they have a backup unless they pull a defender or somebody who's got some experience. That was Henshaw trying to get something going. Another turnover on the counter. Sliding as Zagante can't come up with it. Chasing it down is Givens on that far side, and it's deflected. Nice defense there from Oak City, Zach.
Yeah, running on the line there, really testing the nerves there of the Rapids players. You know, when a goalkeeper comes off their line like that, they really have to come and get the ball. In that case, Zagante didn't, but then what do? Do you continue to chase it down? Do you run back to her line? She just decided to put pressure on the attacker, which in that instance, being so far off your line, was probably the best decision.
Several of these players for the Rapids are playing at Charlotte along with Stapleton. Several defenders also. Megan Green, who's got 2 goals already on the season. Look out for her wearing number 21 on the attack. Entering her junior year at Charlotte last year, 10 goals, 6 assists. She was a all-conference first team in the USA Conference, freshman of the year in 2016. So again, Oak City fans want to keep your eye on number 21 in scarlet here today.
Oak City will be looking to get off to a better start than they did last week. They conceded early to Charleston Fleet, so they're going to want to get through this first 5 minutes without conceding. They'd love to get a goal, but really to settle into this match without conceding is objective number 1 for Oak City.
Well, Henshaw's has played well here in the first 4 minutes or so. A couple of turnovers. Gives the ball back to the Rapids, then it's deflected back. Oak City trying to get on the attack, Zach, and I think we need a sense of urgency, too, from Oak City. It's game number 4, so certainly not time for any panic button to be hit, but if you fall to the Rapids here, it's going to be difficult. This is the lone meeting between these two teams this year, too, and they'll be chasing each other in the standings most likely all year with Asheville at the top still.
Exactly, and that's kind of what we said last week, is that it's better to pick up points earlier in the season, especially while they're on this homestand, than rather to have to fight for them at the end of the season, especially with the situation like it is. Last week, Charleston Fleet were the ones needing to catch up. This week, with the loss, Oak City are in the opposite. Now they need to catch up, so a win here would put them right back into the fight at the top of the table, which is where they want to be. Exactly the opposite for the Rapids. They're already at the top. A win would see them go over Asheville City, which is what they want to do, continue to apply the pressure. So both of these teams are very competitive in this need for a win, and that's the thing about this season, is you get all the excitement of a 60-game season in such a small space of time, which just compiles it all.
Well, Golden's free kick looking for Paige Griffiths on the far side. Good defense from the Rapids to hold Griffiths off the ball, and a throw for Carolina. It'll be Carolina this week, and then the other Carolina next week here at Wake Med at 2:30. Also a Saturday game. Casold with a good ball back. Looking to go back to her on the 1-2. Casold trying to chase it down. It's deflected out of play by the defense for the Rapids. I believe it was, well, they have a Hickson, I believe, who had that. Getting a little tricky on that far side to see the numbers, folks. We'll do our best. Throw-in goes to Hoops. Hoops had the lone goal last Sunday as Oak City fell. So 6th minute, 0-0. Both teams finding their groove. That's a through ball. Sliding up to make the play on it is Stapleton. 7 clean sheets as a freshman in college. You hear a lot of coaches in college talk about the adjustment periods that these kids, especially in soccer, need. High school soccer is a whole different animal, and even club soccer a little bit, but Stapleton fit right in, and I think having some club time with the Rapids has helped that process.
Yeah, the college game is not easy, especially as a goalkeeper, and you know the teams that are playing you have scouted you. They know you're a freshman. They know you're untested, so they're going to target you. They're going to shoot from distance. They're going to see what you're like in between the sticks, and she faced that and lived up to those expectations as a freshman.
Nice deflection by McAdams. Speedy is Martinez. She plays at a strong program as well. Another strong mid-major, UNC Wilmington. They've got a good program there on the coast.
Yeah, we can't talk highly enough about North Carolina and South Carolina soccer. It seems like every week we're talking about a great program because there are so many.
That ball deflected out. UNC Wilmington, I think, went to the NCAA tournament a few years ago. That's going to be a foul called. A little over-aggressive from Green there, our player to watch out for on the attack. Committing a foul defensively. 7 minutes in the books. We'll have a water break coming up here, and last week we took a break during. I'm going to tell a little story about my time in Raleigh during the water break, Zach, so you can feel free to stay awake for that one if you want.
I'm looking forward to it.
The free kick, that's going to be deflected, and it'll stay in play. Hoops trying to chase it down. Casold plays it back. Good passing here. Griffiths fires it. Not a bad idea. It was a bit far, but she's got that range.
Yeah, they've been limited to shots from outside the 18, which, if you're the Rapids, is better than having them shoot from the 6-yard box, obviously, but it's something you have to watch for because Oak City do have players capable of scoring from that distance.
Griffiths takes it away. The future Gamecock trying to chase it down, bumping and grinding with Orr over on that far side, and Orr with the better defense that time. Riley Orr is going to be a junior at Charlotte in the fall, part of that back line that helped Stapleton to all those clean sheets as a freshman.
And it's the same situation we saw with the Fleet, where they had a lot of players that played together.
Ball into the box. That'll be headed out by Martinez.
For
Jefferson.
college. Yeah, for colleges in the Charleston area, so that certainly helps with chemistry, similar as to last week.
Jefferson trying to get the counterattack going. Good ball over to Culver on the near side of your screen. Chasing it down is Golden. Ball crossed into the box. Missing it is Green. Still danger, though. That's Givens on the far side. And Oak City holds. You know who I don't see today is Ella Bonner. She's not active today. And that's a big loss for Oak City.
Absolutely. It's a big miss for the team. She has so much versatility in the back line and across the pitch. She can play anywhere along the back four. She's really good at playing an outside back and getting up the field. She's a very strong defender on set pieces. And then in the attacking end, she can shoot from distance. She can serve in set pieces. And she's really good from a corner as far as heading the ball in. So she'll be a big miss, but I imagine that Oak City will be able to manage without her.
Not sure where she is, but hopefully she's getting some air conditioning. None of us are. It is approaching 90 degrees. I don't think it's going to get much past that. Luckily, there's some clouds, but they don't seem to be doing anything to keep the sun at bay here today.
Nope, just more of a tease, really.
Tough news for the players, especially. Very tough conditions, but...
We saw both teams all in white before the game. The Rapids were wearing their white trainers, and I don't blame them at all. I'd much rather be in that than the darker scarlet color with this weather.
So the Rapids with possession here. It's been about 50-50 possession. Maybe Oak City's slight advantage so far here in the early going. As the defender Lauren Griffiths plays it back to Zagante. So Zagante played in the first half on Sunday. Good ball to Casold now, 2-on-2. She's got hoops on the near side. Casold will fire. It's deflected behind. And we'll have our first corner kick of the afternoon.
Yeah, it's been a more quiet start than what we saw in the last game. By this time, I believe we already had 2 goals, so both teams are still settling in, but Oak City will want to make something out of this set piece.
And it'll be Claire Griffiths who will take this corner. Griffiths scored on a corner kick earlier this season, also has 1 assist on the year.
Watch for number 8, Golden. She has plenty of height and certainly towers above some of the other players on the pitch.
Ball booted. Golden tries to go for it. Good call, Zach. She got ahead on it, but it went the opposite direction, and it'll be a throw for the Rapids.
Yeah, corners are so interesting because there's so many different ways you can set up, but a lot of the times it's just put it in an area that's advantageous for your players to get on it. And when you have someone that's taller like Golden, those are the ones that you're going to see get on the end of those more often. So I think she'll kind of fill in that role that Bonner normally has.
We've had a couple of droppages here and there, folks. Weather related, I'm sure. If the broadcast goes down, what you want to do is just give yourself a little refresh. We'll get it going. Automatically it'll restart, and there's no trouble with the internet. It's just here and there we'll have the computer needs to sweat like the rest of us, so that's what will happen. But for the most part, we should be okay today. Again, just an FYI, because I know we've lost a couple of seconds already. Golden hesitates on the near side, good for her hoops. Another turnover. That pass by Jefferson I thought was off the mark, but Rapids able to recover. Credit Green with the play there. Patient on the attack are the Rapids. Carolina second place. Tied with Asheville with 9 points on the year. Last year they were 6-3-1. Oak City won the meeting last year 2-1 on June 17th. Madison Hoops had both goals last year. Zach, so look for her today on the attack for Oak City.
Absolutely. She's one of the marquee players in that front line, and she's always dangerous regardless of who the opponent is. So it wouldn't surprise me if she got on the score sheet today.
Is Madison's dad still up here? We got to watch what we say about Madison today. No mistakes. Dad's bigger than both of us, too. Take us out.
It would be hard to find much to say negative about Madison Hoops. She is a wonderful player and a real gift to have on this team.
Last year she was at Longwood Madison's dad told me she's going to play at UNC Pembroke, be a little closer to home there in, she's from Jacksonville. Jacksonville is an underrated part of North Carolina, too. It's got a lot of military to it, but it's a nice town and right on the water there. Pretty place. So both teams, Zach, trying to find their footing a little bit. Hoops, speaking of which, trying to make something happen.
That may have been the game plan with the coach set out for Oak City, is to play a little bit more conservative in the early periods, try to control the pace of the game rather than letting it get away from them like it did in the early stages last week.
It is hot and hazy, and I'm expecting a low-scoring affair. Two good defenses as well, but Orr on the left back plays it to the center. Now they're looking for Martinez. Martinez, the right back. A lot of speed on her. Gets it to Jefferson. Jefferson can cross. She will. And Zagante makes the nice play.
It was very good pace from the outside wing back there to get the ball forward. When you can use one of your defenders to pass multiple lines of the other team, it's super useful. And then you saw the cross there. Zagante, very confident coming off her line. It's one of her strong suits that we've seen from her in these first couple of games. So it's going to be difficult for the Rapids to find one of those balls that's successfully going to get past Zagante. But if they want to, they're going to need to really target around that penalty area or edge of the 6-yard box, and they might find some joy there.
Susie, college at Grand Canyon and UNC Asheville, played for the Croatian under-19 national team. Did Susie. She's got a dual citizenship from Holly Springs, North Carolina. Mom, ball into the box, Gasold now. And the defense able to hold for Carolina. I believe it was Gibbons, no, correction, Flanders, number 8 for the Rapids, making the play there, Zach.
Yeah, it was a really good-looking cross. For a second there, I thought she was just going to bring it out of the air and volley it home, but it was difficult, very high up in the air. She did her best to bring it down with her right foot, but couldn't quite control it given the angle.
Henshall's done a nice job keeping her dribble today. Hoops goes back to her. Henshall finding some space, puts it in the box, and it'll be cleared out by Hickson.
We didn't take bets, but we should have on when the first substitution would be. It wouldn't surprise me if they started around the 20th minute or 25th minute and decided to bring some people in, give some players a break from the heat.
Hoops is going to throw it in here for Oak City. Entering minute number 17. Golden flicks it in, and no trouble for the defense. Golden and Henshall combine to try to win it back now. Firing it in, Griffiths. That was blocked by Hickson. So Hickson with two nice defensive plays. Gasold gives it a run, but too far forward, and Stapleton makes the play, Zach.
Yeah, the Rapids have given Oak City a lot of space right on the edge of the box, allowed them to take those shots, and they've decided to close them down after the shot's been taken rather than before. So they're going to have to be careful not to give Oak City too much space to shoot, but as I said earlier, they'd rather do that than allow them to dribble into the box. So we'll see how that pans out as the match goes on.
So for Oak City, Claire Griffiths takes it back. Ball in again to the box. Stapleton will handle it. And let's talk about our next broadcast while we have a minute here, Zach. And there you can see it on your screen. Wrapping up the 4-game homestand next Saturday. You can watch it live at 2:30. It's the Lady Dynamo coming to town here at Wake Med. And if you can't be with us, we'd love to see you here. And if you're here, pay for a ticket. It's $7. Can't beat that deal. I think it's more expensive to watch them play in college. Through ball to Hoops. Two defenders around her. Hoops trying to keep it alive. Martinez had a touch on it, and they're going to say it was Madison who touched it last.
Yeah, that was a close one there, and Martinez knew that she had a attacker all over her back. She did well to just shield her, and in the end, with the attacker hitting that one out for a throw-in, did very well. She's shown some quality here in this first opening 15-20 minutes.
Oak City on the attack now. Rapids trying to counter here. Good ball on the far side for Ellis. Ellis plays it in. This is Culver. Culver fires it right at Zagante, who makes the save.
Good passing right outside the 18-yard box, and not a half bad shot either, but it was right at Sagante. It's going to be difficult to beat her from that position.
Oak City going quickly. That was Griffiths to McAdams, and McAdams too far forward on that. Stapleton makes the play. Busy day here at Wake Med. The guys are playing later on at the big stadium behind us at 7, I believe, tonight, right?
Absolutely. Yep, it's going to be a lot of traffic in and out of here, so we get the early game, a little bit more of the heat, but be able to get out of here, and maybe some of the players or fans will stream over for that match as well.
Gardner made a nice defensive play. Paige Griffiths goes to the far side. And again, trouble for Claire. Oak City stays with it, though, off the clear. McAdams goes back to Claire, and that'll be knocked away by Orr.
There's no doubt in my mind that had Claire Griffiths rounded the last offender and put that in the back of the net, that would have been on YouTube within seconds. That was an absolutely wonderful play from her to just chip the ball over her defender at first, but the second touch wasn't there. It was a beautiful play.
Jefferson looking to get it into the box. Good defense again from that center back position for Oak City. Casold, center circle. Far side, it's Claire Griffiths. Hoops looking for it off the header from Hickson. And the Rapids defense again able to hold. 20th minute. 0-0. Both of these teams playing with the kind of urgency, Zach, where they know what's on the line here in this lone meeting of the season.
Yep, they're definitely going to want to not play for a draw, even though you're on the road. If you're the Rapids, you're going to want to get all the 3 points if you're Oak City, so you can see that urgency playing out. It's just both the midfields and defenses have been very strong. They've been pressing and winning the ball back rather than having some more free-flowing attacking soccer. So both teams have done well to restrict the attack. As you can see, Oak City are having to play the ball back between their defenders. So we'll see if there can be a player that can break that press and really transform this game one way or the other.
Chris Sheeman, Zach Burley, Kevin Gotuso on the camera here today. Up to 90 degrees now. Here's Jefferson with the cross. That goes over everybody, and it'll be a goal kick. Well, the first sub, as Zach predicted, at the 20:44 mark. One sub for each team, and Mr. Burley's got the binoculars today, so we come prepared, folks. I'm trying to tell you who's coming in.
That was Paige Griffiths coming off, and Logan Culver coming off for the Rapids.
So we'll tell you about the subs as soon as they can turn around and we can get a look at their jersey numbers. Oak City will get the throw in here. 22nd minute. Both teams have had a few chances. Nothing real dangerous for either keeper so far today yet, though. One corner kick for Oak City. Nothing yet on the set piece for the Rapids. Green played it all the way back to the center back Flanders. Flanders too far forward looking for Hickson on that far side. So it looks like we're going to go to a water break here. 22 minutes in the books. Chris Sheeman, Zach Burley here with you. So you know how college basketball, they do Walton's World. Well, this is Chris's World. Had a chance to come up last night, hang out in beautiful Raleigh just a little bit. Went to Umstead State Park. I'm a big outdoors person, like to do a lot of walking around. And folks, if you're not from the area and you come up for a game, Umstead State Park is where you want to be. Beautiful place. What you don't want to do, though, is when it's 90 degrees out, go and hike 5 miles when you've only had 10 chicken nuggets and a half a bottle of water, and you don't bring any water with you. A genius boy over here did that. But anyways, the real part of the story that'll keep Zach awake over there is So I'm walking, and there's this nice little dam, and they're kind of like a river there with the waters flowing, and it looks very beautiful. So I'm going to go down and sit on the rocks, Zach, you know, just kind of take in nature.
As you would do, yeah.
Enjoy Raleigh. Enjoy beautiful Raleigh Umstead State Park for a few minutes. So I walk on down, and I get ready to sit down, and before I could turn around, a snake the size of the football field that you see on your screen jumps 3 feet in the air at me because this is not my fault. This is my fault, is what I meant to say. I almost sat on his head.
Oh.
Now the snake was only probably about 2 feet, but I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. We don't have snakes. We got squirrels that occasionally get into our meth, but we don't have any snakes. So I almost sit on this thing. It jumps. I jump.
I imagine so.
Luckily, we were equally terrified of each other, or I'd have been life-lighted out of Umstead State Park.
Yeah, that's a life or death experience today. Thankfully, we have a much more safer environment. No snakes here at Wake Med Park, so I think you can put that fear away.
I'm always on alert now for those snakes. Raleigh is crawling with snakes, ladies and gentlemen. So, impressions of the first part of the first half, Mr. Burley?
Yeah, obviously it's been much slower than what the game we saw last week, but as I said, that may have been the game plan for both teams, maybe wanting to feel each other out, see what they're going to do, maybe use this time as the water break to change a formation. As I said, there are no timeouts in soccer, but this does give you a time to adjust, to adapt to maybe how the game's going, so that'll be interesting to see in this few minutes after if there's an impact from the bench. Maybe the coach said a few words or changed things, tinkered around, and we'll see if it has any effect on the gameplay. But I think as it goes on, we'll continue to see a gridlock both in the midfield and through the defenses. So hopefully we get a goal eventually, but whichever one it may be, it could be the deciding factor, as I don't see this being a very high-scoring affair.
By the way, second half beverage break, I got another story, and this one's about Mr. Burley that we're going to tell you. So
wonderful.
Stick around for that in a second. So Zagante with the goal kick as we're back to live action. Now the clock here stops, but I believe we're still, well, we kept ours going, so we're just going to go with whatever we've got here.
Yeah,
so we're in the 26th minute, but actually it's in the 23rd.
Yep, and that'll give the folks at home an idea of how much stoppage time there will be. So it's not a bad way either. However it turns out with the clock.
So if you see the scoreboard and you're wondering these dopes don't know how to tell time, that's why. Again, that back line for the Rapids really making it difficult on Oak City. Martinez, another UNC Wilmington player, has played well as the right back against Hoops. Those two have battled all afternoon so far. For Oak City, Schwartz, that's the sub, by the way. Remy Schwartz coming in, entering her sophomore year at Duke, up the road in Chapel Hill. Correction, that's UNC. We were doing so well today. Martinez off the turnover. Here's Quinn. That's another sub for the Rapids. Megan Quinn on for the first time. Or the left back tries to get it forward. It deflects back to her. Plays it up top to Green. Good defense again. That's Gardner, the center back. Avery Gardner has also come on. Avery takes it to center circle. Freshman from Elon of last year.
Yep, and with that footwork, you'd have no idea that she was a defender. She dribbled around 3 or 4 players there in the midfield and did very well to advance the ball. So fancy footwork from her. Got a couple of substitutions. I'll be tracking them with my Cyclops eye. I'm just using one end of the binoculars. So
Francis Henshaw will come off for Oak City.
Anna Fish coming on.
Rachel Golden also sent off. So Fish is in, and we'll tell you about the next sub here as soon as Golden reaches the side. Oak City, third of 4 straight here at home for Oak City United. one more chance to see them here in the month of June on Saturday of next week. Another sub is Corey Lawrence, number 21 on your screen. The soon-to-be sophomore at Presbyterian.
And she's kind of playing. She's playing as like the furthest forward attacker. They were kind of playing with two up top. Now they're just going with a sole attacker, and Casole has fallen back into a more defensive role.
Green plays it in, and correct myself. Corey Lawrence will be a freshman at Presbyterian. Play for the Blue Hose, a name that strikes fear in all of the competition. The Presbyterian Blue Hose.
Well, I'm a little partial to the Fighting Camels, but the Big South has a couple of very good mascot names, and the Blue Hose is certainly one of them.
Martinez for the Rapids. 29th minute. Hoops trying to make something happen. Martinez says, I'm ready for that. Plays it forward. Quinn fighting off the defender, and it'll be cleared by Gardner. Saw that Campbell was the Camels driving up yesterday. How did that name come about? There are no camels in North Carolina, are there?
Oh, they're all over Bowie's Creek, actually. You should visit sometime.
You're kidding.
No, there are some rumors around how the name came across. The story that the university tells is that the university actually burned down in the early 1900s, and the founder told his fellow friend, who was also like a co-founder, that they needed to get the hump on it and get back to work rebuilding the school. So that's the official story.
Rapids trying to make something happen. Sending it in is Hickson. And again, over everybody's head, though. And when it's 90 degrees, probably triple digits out on the field, no need to expend the energy.
Yep, it's always a little warmer once you get down on the grass. So I know, especially with the cleats on, there's not a lot of breathability in there. So that's where you get some of those turf toe injuries and stuff like that. Of course, we have natural grass out there, but it definitely is torment on your feet during the summer months.
Firing it in. Wow, that was not a bad shot. Zagante was ready for it. That was off the foot of number 22. That's Eliza Robinson.
And we've seen quite a few shots from distance. Actually, it hasn't affected either of the goalkeepers. They've been over the bar, but maybe they'll start tuning in and getting a little closer as the match goes on.
So Eliza Robinson has come on for the Rapids, number 22. She's from North Carolina, but entering her sophomore year at Middlebury, which is in Vermont. Talk about a difference in playing conditions between Vermont in the fall and North Carolina in the middle of June. Also checking in, thank you, Zach, is Fernandez for Oak City, Melissa Fernandez. Entering her sophomore year at Auburn Montgomery. Coming on, wearing number 7 in white. So minute 32, still 0-0. Throw for Oak City. Over on the far side, Gardner. Gardner with a beautiful pass. The shot blocked. I believe it was Hoops who took this shot. And we'll have our second corner kick.
Yeah, and it's a good thing that the attacker there for Oak City, I'm not sure exactly who it was, but they had serviced the ball into the box, and they were almost going to touch it again before it went out of play, but they would have been in an offsides position, so we're smart to let that go out for the corner kick.
So Claire Griffiths once again, second time on that far side for Oak City today. To zip the corner kicks.
Interesting setup, a lot of the players lining up at the top of the box.
The taller Schwartz is close to the post. Ball up. And it's over everybody and cleared out.
Causes a lot of confusion when you try to put it on that goal line. It makes it difficult for the goalkeeper, and that's a risky move right there, but it worked out for the defender.
That was a baller move by Lauren Griffiths right there. Did you see that play?
I would have not had the guts to pull that one off, but she did it to perfection.
Hoops tried to send it in. It's headed back. Rapids trying to go on the counter here with Quinn. Look out for the handball there. It's taken back by Claire Griffiths. Fish sends it back to Gardner with a D. Fernandez Plays it back to Solds, moved to the left back. This is the first time we've seen her in that position this year. Hoops. Sends it forward. Claire Griffiths trying to chase it down, but Flanders will get behind it. Let it go for a goal kick. 2 more subs for the Rapids coming on, and 1 for Oak City. Here in minute 34. Looks like Hoops is going to come off for Oak City. Green sent off for Carolina. And again, we'll do our best with the subs. How are the binoculars working for you?
They're actually very good.
Yeah.
The difficulty is when they sub in on the other side, we can't see their numbers, but this has managed to cut down the distance.
So Mozak back out there. Number 19 for Oak City has come on, and that is Catherine Turner. So Turner on for the first time. This soon-to-be sophomore at Belmont Abbey. Here's a quick counter by the Rapids. Ball into the box. The flick. Nice touch by Robinson, but Zagante makes a beautiful save.
It was really good work to get the ball in the box and into that position. Good work from the winger to cut the ball back and cross it, but Zagante was equal to that chance.
So some fresher legs, and we're seeing a little more pep in the step on both sides now, once again. Good defense that time for Hickson for the Rapids. Sanchez now leaves it at center circle for Flanders.
As we move into the closing minutes of the half, both teams are going to start to push to want to get that goal right before the halftime whistle blows.
Good ball to Robinson. Robinson doing some dancing. Cross blocked by Gardner. Claire Griffiths. Now it's Lawrence. Ball sent the other direction. Schwartz trying to run it down. And that will be a goal kick. Another sub on, I believe, for Oak City. Looks like Claire will get a breather for the rest of the half. And we'll tell you about her sub here in just a moment. Goal kick for Zagante. It looks like it's Paige who came in for her sister. So Paige Griffiths back out there, number 26. She steals it away. On that far side is Garner. Garner bumping with Orr, and Garner called for the foul. A little over-aggressive there from Ivy. Ivy, we've told you about her story. She was a high school freshman last year at Cedar Ridge. 18 goals, 14 assists, all-conference player. She also plays tennis. It's always surprising to me seeing these players and then watching them grow up, and this goes back to when I was in high school. Guy I played with basketball, I thought he was going to be a D1 top recruit in basketball. Ended up playing football at Louisville. Trying to run it down is Flanders. It'll be a goal kick. He was that much better at football than he was at basketball, and he got a Division I scholarship from Bobby Petrino. Now he's working for the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, now
so you just never know. I'd like to see her. I'm sure she's good at tennis too.
Yeah, nowadays we're so. I mean, we talk about the same thing with Casold, the same way with the field hockey.
This ball in, trying to chase it down is Quinn. Good defense again by Oak City. Get it out of danger.
And the one thing that the United States is great at is producing athletes, not just one sport athletes, but people that are great regardless of what really they're playing. So
yeah, you know, all you ever hear about is how fat we are and, you know, the obesity problem, but we've got some of the best athletes in the world.
Yeah, we're not half bad at that, that's for sure.
Martinez tries to send it into the box. Lawrence tries for the counterattack. Good job, patient by Lawrence there. Fish unable to gain control of it. Sanchez sends it in. Flanders held off, and Zagante. Zagante and Gardner combining. Good teamwork there.
Yeah, both center back pairings for both teams have played very well in these opening half here. I've been very happy to see that they've managed to win all the balls. When the defenders have been pushed back and the attackers are really pressing, they've shown up big time. So we'll see if any of them crack or if they continue their strong performances.
Again, Oak City having trouble just to get it past center circle right now against this strong defense for the Rapids. Here's Garner on the far side, taken away by Jefferson for the Rapids. Carolina Rapids, if the Rapids name sounds familiar, it's because they are affiliated with the Colorado Rapids, their men's team at least. And the Rapids ladies keeping that same name.
Yeah, the Rapids have an affiliation with this team, speaking of the MLS, as well as a couple other affiliations with some of the youth teams in the Charlotte area. So they, it seems like an unrelated state, Colorado and North Carolina, but it's a affiliation that they're going to use to their advantage, the Carolina Rapids, and one that gives them maybe a leg up on some of the other teams as far as finances and stuff like that goes. So something that they can certainly use to their advantage, and Oak City, of course, with the Courage, can use that as well.
Robinson ball into the box, punched out Zagante. Staying with it was Jefferson, but it's cleared away, luckily, for Oak City. Mozak tried to get there. And so Zagante keeping her wits about her here. Now Oak City trying to get something on this counterattack here late in this first half. We're in the 40th minute now. We will have some extra time because of the water break, so time will be added. More subs. Gardner's going to leave after playing a great first half on defense for Oak City. And Claire Griffiths, her break was short. Nita Rodriguez doing a lot of shuffling, a coach for Oak City. Nita, as I mentioned, a Division I coach for Missouri, Kansas City. Go Roos, my adopted team, and also Kent State in the MAC. That pass was off the mark as the players recognize the miscommunication. Casold will throw it in here. Casold, we kind of alluded, if you're just joining us for the first time, Casold was a field hockey player for Team USA for several years. She retired after the Rio Olympics when the United States finished 5th in that competition, and continuing her playing career now on the pitch.
Yep, and that goes right back to what we were talking about with athletes, is that the fact that she can play at such a high level for field hockey and then slot right in playing professional soccer is incredible. Just speaks to her ability as an athlete and as a player.
We had another sub come in for the Rapids, which we'll get to as quick as we can. Megan Green, I believe, back out there. She is. Thank you, Zach. Zach's got one eye on the game, one eye on the binoculars here this afternoon.
Quite literally, yeah.
Clouds and sun, not much in the way of a breeze. And you could probably, girlfriend texted me, said, it looks hot out there. You can probably see the haze on your screen. We didn't filter it, folks. No filter. Hashtag no filter. It's just haze. Looks like Casold's going to go to the bench.
Yeah, a much-deserved break for her. She's been playing all over the field and has really put a shift in this first half, as she has in all the games so far this season.
42nd minute and another sub for Oak City. Coming back into the game, checking in for the first time, Melina Burnside from Colorado Springs. We were just talking about Colorado. Colorado's an underrated soccer state, too. People think of the Carolinas and they think of the West Coast, California, and places like that. Colorado, right there in the middle, has a lot of talent.
You saw there as Oak City was playing the ball around in their defense that the Rapids have a really high press right now, and this is what the Oak City are taking advantage of, is the fact that so many players were upfield.
Turner, that ball is going to be cleared away, and they say it's deflected off Oak City, so it'll be a Rapids throw.
Yeah, that's a difficult call for me as the referee. I'm not sure I had the best angle on that one, but give him the benefit of the doubt. He's a little bit closer than we are, so once again, more strong play from the center back. Sometimes you have to leave the attacker on the ground, and in the end, that worked out well for him.
Some real physical play. I had a Canadian coach on the women's side tell me once that when he comes to play in the United States, he's got to prepare his girls because they let so much more contact go here in the States on the women's side than they do up in Canada. It's very physical down here, and they let them play, which is how it should be, by the way.
Absolutely. And I'm not sure if I'll have time to tell this entire story, but my dad was an indoor soccer coach for a while, and he coached boys and girls, and he said that the one difference was that the women were much more literal. He put a girl into the game to mark one of the other team's specific players who was really good. He says, I just want you to go in there and take her out of the game.
Look out, off the turnover, that through ball is in, and the offside flag goes up. It was late, but it does go up.
Yeah, that's a close call there, and, you know, obviously without the aid of replay, it's going to be hard to tell really whether or not she was, but once again, giving the benefit of the doubt to the referee on that one. But, yeah, it's a break for Oak City because you would give the advantage to the attacker in that situation. But getting back to the story, he said that the difference was they were much more literal. He put a girl in to mark one of their better players and said, take her out of the game, and the girl went straight into the game and then plastered the girl up on the wall.
Look out. That ball is going to be wide, but trying to chase it down is Carpenter as Lawrence took the shot with the net empty. A rare mistake from Stapleton, but Oak City unable to make them pay. They will get, however, a corner kick.
Well, as you can tell, Chris, I'm not meant to tell the story because as soon as I get into it, they get to the other end, and both times the attacker has rounded the goalkeeper. This time, Oak City was not offsides, and that was a golden opportunity when they're going to want to make an advantage of off this set piece. Similar setup once again on the top of the 18-yard box.
Third straight corner for Clara Griffiths on that far side. Ball into the box. Lawrence off on an awkward spot. It's still in. Orr trying to hold off. And nice defense by Orr. She's impressed me. She's another Charlotte player on that back line for the Rapids. Those 49ers are pretty good. On the counterattack, trying to run it down on that far side will be Flanders, but it's going to go out of play.
Yeah, the game has gotten more and more stretched as the half has gone on in these closing minutes. You've seen the ball go from one end to the other very quickly. It makes for a very exciting game, a lot of fun to watch, but as a defender or a goalkeeper, you're very nervy watching the ball move so quickly from one end of the pitch to the other.
So, 45 minutes in the book. Extra time, as I mentioned, we had a water break for those of you just joining us earlier, so we'll have a few minutes added on to that, probably 3-ish. Both teams with some opportunities. Oak City looking for a late first half goal here. That ball too far forward against Stapleton. Well off the line, out of the box, as a matter of fact, as she clears it away. Mozak taken back by Schwartz. And Schwartz a little too much on that one.
It was a very good step from her to come out of the defense and win the ball in the midfield. And like I've been saying, the ball is just being passed 30 and 40 yards at a time, going from one end to the other. And it's difficult as a midfielder to really get involved in the game when the ball's going from defense to offense like that. But the teams, both respectively, are going to have to close down those midfield passing lanes in order to slow the game down a bit.
Rapids again, trying to make something happen here. Robinson sends it in. Look out. This is Green. Green, it's deflected, and she'll just walk it in to the back of the net. So Zagante slid out, tried to make a play on it. And here in added time in this first half, it's 1-0 in favor of the Rapids.
That was a fantastic goal. The pass to get into the attacker was beautiful. Perfectly weighted. The run was right in between those two center backs. That space you want to exploit was just on sides when she came on, but the ball was absolutely perfectly weighted. The touch from the defender to get around Zagante was right on par, and she was able to easily slot that one home. So a wonderful assist and a very well taken goal. And our first half has been very close. It looks like the Rapids will go into the half with the lead.
So that will wrap it. First half is in the books. 1-0 to Carolina. The Rapids take a 1-goal lead off the foot of Megan Green, her third of the season in the WPSL, here in the 45th minute. So we will step aside for 15 minutes, take a halftime break. We'll be back with the second half here in just a little bit. Welcome back, everybody. Chris Sheeman, Zach Burley, Kevin Tuso here with you. Hot and sticky Wake Med Soccer Park, 90-degree day. 1-0 to the Rapids in extra time. Megan Green scoring the first goal of the game for Carolina. So it was off a deflection after Zagante made a block on it. Couldn't gain control of the ball, and Megan Green stayed with it, walked it into the net. So Oak City will possess first as they come out in the white and Rapids in the scarlet. So we're underway here in this second period. Again, what's on the line? It's Asheville and the Rapids with 9 points apiece at the top of the Carolina Conference standings. Oak City with 6. So if Oak City can win today, they would pull into no worse than a second-place tie with the Rapids and have that head-to-head tiebreaker as well. If the Rapids win, depending on what Asheville does this weekend, they can hang tight with them.
Yeah, and Asheville are at the Lady Dynamo right now. I just saw them put out their starting lineup, so this result will have a big effect on the result there in Greensboro. So it's a big high-stake game for both teams. Both are going to want to get all 3 points and not have to split them up with a draw. And you might say it's a little more important for Oak City at this stage to get a win, but both are going to be wanting to come away with all 3 points.
Here's Casold, 2 goals in her first game since high school, back on May 19th against the Discoveries. Unable to get anything going here. And now it'll be a Rapids throw over on the far side of your screen.
Yeah, it's been frustrating for Oak City in the attacking third this entire game. That they've shown some really good skills, some very good individual effort as well as crosses, but it just hasn't quite come off for them yet. The Rapids have just been that little bit better when it comes to defending, so they're going to keep pressing, keep trying, and I wouldn't put it past them to get at least 1 goal.
Opportunity off the missed header. Here's Gibbons. And that's going to roll right to Zagante. So it is Zagante in front of the net. No changes this week. Abby Stapleton is the lone keeper active today for Carolina. So we'll see her throughout. The clean sheet professional. 7 of them as a freshman last year for the 49ers in Charlotte. Bad footing there from Robinson, and that ball goes flying out of play. So we will likely have another water break about midway through the half, and then some added time at the end as a result of that. Oak City and Carolina, this is the first and lone meeting this year. They met only one time last year, too, and Oak City won 2-1. Madison Hoops on June 17th, 2017, scored 2 goals to send Oak City home victorious. So far this year, the Rapids have played 4 of their first 5 on the road, so 5 home games, 5 road games to start the year, then 5 at home to wrap up. Here's Casold battling against Hickson. Casold plays it back. Oops, sends it into the box. Trying to get there was Griffiths. And the defense, again, escapes danger.
And that was really good play from Casold to start that off. For her size, she showed really good strength to hold the ball up. As an attacker, it's really easy to feel that contact behind you and just go to ground, but she held the ball up, and we'll have another go at it.
Firing it is Casold over the crossbar. So Casold coming out strong, and why these 3 points are more important for Oak City than they are for the Rapids, not only because it's the only time these 2 teams are going to meet, but the Rapids only have to play Asheville 1 time. Susie Zagante trying to get to the ball, and she does, just barely. So the Rapids only have to play Oak City once, only have to play Asheville once. Meanwhile, Oak City has to play Asheville twice.
And that's going to be a difficult pickup to get points out of all 3 of those games, but it's really a necessity to get, at least a win, and 2 of those 3, a win here and a win against Asheville, would put them in a pretty good spot come the end of the season. But they're going to want to get this win, and especially given the fact that they do have 2 very tough games against Asheville.
Oak City's headed out on the road. We will have the game on Saturday, and then Oak City will hit the road for a few weeks. And you can actually see the schedule right there on your screen. So the Dynamo next Saturday at 2:30. Then they're at Lake Norman, at the Dynamo, and then at Asheville, and then at Beaufort. So 4 games straight on the road for Oak City before they wrap up 2018 here at home against Asheville on July 7th.
Yeah, they've had it pretty easy as far as not having to travel. They've been able to have a lot of home games back-to-back. They're going to have to go on the road here for a little while, so that's just another test, another bar they're going to have to jump over. But the tenacity that they've showed in these home matches, I think, proves to me that they'll be able to go and grind out results on the road and shouldn't have much of a problem.
Shorts had the throw, Claire Griffiths. It'll be another throw for Oak City. Claire Griffiths, she didn't play as a redshirt at Florida State. All-American honors at Millbrook High School. And she's going to South Carolina. A great program down there for the Gamecocks. Gamecocks, always a contender. They have a nice little rivalry, too, with Florida State, so it'll be interesting. I'm not sure if they do a home-and-home every other year in soccer or not. They should if they don't. But it'll be interesting for Claire Griffiths if they do play this year. For Carolina, or can they get the ball and a late whistle as Givens was fouled. So free kick to come for the Rapids, Zach.
They've been pretty even so far. Oak City have had the better of the attacking chances, but the possession has been pretty much 50-50. So, of course, is the same situation we faced last week, is that the away team with the lead might want to sit back. We'll see if they do that.
Or with a nice kick, Zagante's out. It's going to be headed into the back of the net. I believe it's Jefferson. Elena Jefferson makes it 2-0. In favor of the Rapids here in the 52nd minute.
Well, and just as I was talking about wanting to sit back as the away team, they send the ball into the box and put it away. It was a difficult one for Zagante coming up. There was a lot of bodies in front of her. It made it difficult to get a fist to it. And in the end, she was out of position. The attacker, Jefferson, had a pretty easy header into goal. So 2-0 down now. Oak City might want to maybe make an adjustment. They're going to have to pick up the pace in the second half to get any points out of this match, but you wouldn't put it past them. And a good showing so far for the Rapids, who have managed to double their lead
Elena
early
Jefferson
on.
played at Queen's University 2014 to 2017. 20 goals, had 10 as a senior. She gets her first with the Rapids here in 2018. It'll be cleared out by Quinn, sent to Green. So Green had the first. Jefferson with the second. And now Green on that far side. That's going to go off the foot of an Oak City defender, so it'll be the first corner kick for the Rapids here today.
And we haven't seen what the Rapids have been able to do off the corner, obviously, because this is their first one. It's a different setup than what we've seen from Oak City. They've primarily been towards the edge of the box, and the Rapids are going to be towards the far post, so it'll be interesting to see what they do off the set piece.
Riley Orr will take this corner here. Takes it low. Trying to go for the header again was Jefferson. Hoops gets it out. Casold comes up.
It's a good play from her, drifting in deep to win possession back for her team, and good hold-up play as well.
Garner losing it. Here's Capel. So Capel with a good defensive play. Now Green leaves it on the far side for Ellis. Sends it into the box. Look out, Givens. I thought maybe Zach danced too much with it. She had a wide open look if she had just got control and shot it there. Instead took a few dribbles to the near side, and Oak City escapes.
Another golden opportunity to Rapids to make this 3-0. And as Oak City continue to press to get an opening goal, they're going to leave themselves more and more exposed to the back. So they're going to have to be careful and going to need a little bit of luck like they saw there from that chance with the Rapids.
Well, something we don't say very often, Ivy Garner's pass is off the mark, and another throw for Carolina here. Or, oops. And two players going for it, neither one making a good effort.
And you can just tell from the body language of Oak City that the attackers are a little frustrated that maybe the bounce hasn't gone their way. They got lucky with that throw in.
Play by Claire Griffiths, though, to take it away, and then a sliding in is Orr to clear it out. Zach?
Yeah, and she's upset that the defender maybe slid through her to get through the ball, but the contact was made through the ball first and the player second, so I believe that was a fair challenge. But, you know, as an attacker, of course, you got to plead your case, and as a defender the same way. But you want to see that fight from a player. Last thing you want is them just to get up without any fight. So
Schwartz will throw it in now. 56th minute. Claire Griffiths, low ball into the box. Defender missed. Casold puts it in the back of the net. Michelle Casold here in the 56th minute puts Oak City on the board and right back in the game.
I was talking about frustration from those attacking players, and that's not a bad thing at all. You could see that Griffiths was just frustrated after that challenge. She got on the ball and crossed it in, kind of took that attack on her back and found Casold all the way at the far post, who was able to slide it home. And it's a quick response from Oak City, exactly what they're going to have wanted to get, and now they can look to build on that and possibly tie this game up. Well, plenty of time left.
Let's see now, Zach, how Carolina answers after being punched in the mouth for the first time. Givens tried to play it in. Good job by the back line again for Oak City to clear it away. Carolina, as we mentioned, as Zach mentioned in the first half, still applying a lot of pressure. Gardner, the center back, has played well, but Golden sends it forward. Casold again. Casold looking to get her footwork intact, and the sliding challenge will go behind Oak City now with its first corner kick here in the second half. And is it their fourth overall, I believe, Zach?
I believe it is, and that was really good footwork from Casold to get past her defender. But once again, the Rapids defenders continue to amaze me with their accuracy on the slide tackles, not to take out the person and to get the ball every time. It's been right on par.
Claire Griffiths. She's taken them all on the far side so far today. The Gamecock sends it in. Beautiful ball, but I thought Golden for a minute might have been able to make a play on the near side corner, but with a heading effort, unfortunately just a little bit above.
Yeah, that's not the first time we've seen Griffiths put the ball in that area. And when you kind of get it into that headable area right by the far post, it makes it really difficult because the goalkeeper can't get there, and it's over everyone's head, so it's a really dangerous area. It also has the chance, if there's a good breeze or a lot of whip, that it could possibly even curl its way into the goal. So the quality crosses, and it's going to be a continuous bother and a pain in the side of the Rapids as those corners keep piling up.
Look out now. Nice takeaway by Givens. Givens, nice hustle by Henshaw to come from behind. And then a foul called on Carolina. That was all Francis Henshaw, the future junior at NC State. All region, all conference in high school, and terrific defense there, Zach.
Yeah, it's not an easy play to make when the attackers got the advantage on you. Is a few steps ahead to use your pace to get back in front of her and pass the ball back to your goalkeeper with the ease that she showed, even drew the foul in the process, which alleviated some of that pressure they were having to take. But really good play defensively from her.
That ball sent forward. The Rapids are certainly not stepping back on this 2-1 lead. They are attacking. For Oak City, Lauren Griffiths makes a beautiful play. Oak City try to go on the counterattack now with Garner, and now Claire Griffiths.
Beautiful ball.
Looking for that ball from Casold sliding in. How about Orr here today, Zach?
And once again, it's another slide tackle from her to perfection there, right onto the ball, not even getting any contact on the defender, and did well to get it all the way back to her defender. But we've seen a couple of really well-placed balls from these midfielders into the attackers.
Mozak, near side, Givens trying to run it down, and it'll go out of play. 60th minute, Oak City trailing by 1. We mentioned there's no Ella Bonner today. We talked about it with Lindsay DeLorenz, the owner of Oak City, at the half. 3 Oak City United players playing for the Courage right now as national team calls up happened earlier So 3 players getting an opportunity. We saw Sarah Teagarden in our first broadcast back in May. She's one of those players now. It depends on how it goes. The NWSL and rule with amateur play is if anybody plays for the Courage, then they have to wait 30 days before they can play at the amateur status. If they don't play a minute, they can come right back. So far, one of those 3 players has played, so she'll have to wait 30 days. We'll see how that shakes out.
And from a development stand, of course, you want these players to be able to play in the big leagues and to play with some very talented players with the Courage, but also, as a little selfishly, you want them to be able to come back and play with Oak City as well. So either way, I think it'll be a win-win for these players. They're going to get to either play in the NWSL or the WPSL here. So regardless of what happens, I think that they'll all have a pretty good shot at getting some high-quality soccer here in the next few months.
So Oak City looking to get at least a few of those players back. We'll see how it pans out. There's the website for the WPSL, brand new website. Well done by those folks. I do dabble a little in web design myself, so I was excited to see that. Looking forward to seeing what's ahead for the WPSL. And again, you could go to their website for more information. 61st minute, or to throw it in for the Rapids. Looking to avenge last year's defeat against Oak City in Greensboro. Here's Garner. That's going to be headed. Carolina, the Mozak leaves it back. Here's Flanders.
And the build-up to that first Oak City goal, you could feel the momentum and the pace start to pick up, and I think that the Rapids have started passing the ball around with their defense and their midfielders and have slowed that down, have kind of taken the wind out of Oak City's sails, which is exactly what you want to do when you have the lead. But if Oak City do want to find that second goal, they're going to need to get that momentum back and get a little bit more on the ball.
Green. Pass on the far side. I believe it's Jefferson again. Hard to tell. It's deflected behind, and it'll be a corner kick. So second corner kick of the afternoon for the Rapids, all in this second half. 62 minutes are in the books. And it looks like Orr's going to take the corner. 13 assists in her first 2 years for the 49ers in Charlotte for Riley Orr. So she's more than capable on the set pieces. Riley into the box, and that's actually going to go behind the net.
Yeah, she was going to try to whip that one as fast as she could onto that near post and try to find a flicked-on header, but it didn't work out for her. And I'm not sure what position Orr plays for the 49ers, but to have 13 assists from the position she plays with the Rapids is very, very impressive. As a defender, when you're outside wingback and get forward, to be able to consistently get assists is very impressive.
Here's Gasold trying to run it down. The defense again. Hickson getting there first, sending it back to Stapleton. If you're just joining us, Stapleton, strong freshman year for the Charlotte 49ers. Garner directing traffic. Ivy had it blocked back to her. Garner will use some space now.
Good play.
How about that speed from Ivy? Garner sends it into the box. It's punched out. Griffiths is there. Sends it low. And the defense from Martina is able to hold. Opportunity there for Oak City, though. Rapids, I think, starting to realize 2 might not be enough in this one.
Oak City have time and time again in the second half gotten a golden chance on goal, a good look at the goal and getting that tying chance there, and that was another one of those opportunities, and wasn't quite able to find the back of the net, but it was once again a good shot from the top of the box. And the pressure's going to keep coming, and they're going to want to keep applying it. They don't want to let the Rapids get off the hook here.
That little bump in the back, and foul's going to be called, and a warning, I believe, to Schwartz. That certainly wasn't enough for a card, but
yeah, it's the first real involvement we've seen from the referee, just giving a few words to Schwartz. I believe it was maybe her elbow that had been up that collided into the back of the attacker, rather. And it's the first thing we've seen from her as far as, rather than from him, from the referee having to say much, but a good thing keeping his cards in his pocket so we don't have to worry about any of that.
Looks like Orr's going to come off. So Riley Orr will get a break. If you're an Oak City striker and you see her going off, you're chomping at the bit. She has been one of the many reasons why Oak City's been limited so far to just one goal. So instead, it's Flanders who will take the kick. Kelly Flanders, former App State player from 2014 to 17. Nothing doing that time, but Rapids keep the ball here. Possession in the game, about 50-50, I'd say, Zach, overall. A couple more chances for the Rapids, a few more via the set piece for Oak City. Here's Capel firing it. Zagante on a hop, makes the stop.
Another shot from distance, once again not troubling Zagante. It's going to be difficult to beat her from that range, and she shows her qualities at shot stopping once again.
Madison Hoops trying to make something happen, and that's going to go out of play for a Rapids throw. If you're just joining us, Megan Green for the Rapids, her third goal of the season in the 45th minute. It was actually an extra time at the end of the first half. Then in the 52nd, the Rapids made it 2-0 off a header from Jefferson. Oak City answered 4 minutes later with Michelle Casol's third goal of the season in the 56th minute. So 2-1, that's where we're at as we wrap up minute 66.
Still plenty of time for anything to happen in this game. As you mentioned, the Rapids are not content with just 2 goals. They're going to want to keep going and get back to that 2-goal lead, make it a 3-1 game like we saw with the Fleet. And Oak City obviously are going to keep pushing for that equalizer, and that's what we mentioned last time when Oak City were down by a couple of goals, that the big thing is just to focus on getting that 1 goal rather than worry about getting a lead.
Hoops trying to make something happen. Good through ball. Michelle Casold fighting against Martinez. Casold. Well, Martinez did a great job there to push Casold into an awkward shot.
Yeah, and that's a difficult angle for Casold. By the time she got the ball off a second chance, she was at a very narrow angle and tried to just lift it into that top left-hand corner, and she did a very good job to get the elevation on it, but in the end, it didn't quite fall on the right side of the crossbar for her. But a lot of positive play we've seen from what is a fantastic athlete.
Givens trying to run it down for Carolina. The Rapids attacker on the near side. Mary Givens, all Ivy League freshman team last year at Princeton. 3 goals, 3 assists for the Tigers from the Charlotte area.
Speaking of threes, we have a triple substitution coming up.
All for Oak City.
Looks like one of them will be Fish.
Give a hand to Henshaw, who goes to the bench. Terrific game for her so far today, defensively especially. So Anna Fish has come on, and a couple others that we'll let you know about. It's even harder in the second half because Oak City's positioned to the left, so we really don't get to see the numbers until that ball's crossed into the box. That's going to be another corner kick as Gardner upset with herself on that header.
Yeah, it's a bit awkward because for a second there you thought Zagante might come off to grab it, and then it was a difficulty of, well, do I try to clear it? Is there a defender around me? The safest bet in that situation is just to put it behind for a corner, which is what the defender had to do there.
So Corey Lawrence, number 21, another sub in for Oak City. And the corner kick taken by Givens. Ball headed up, headed back. Zagante trying to hold off the attack. Now gets back on her line. Givens plays it to Flanders, and Flanders lost her footing. And it's cleared away finally by Oak City. Martinez now. Quinn. Good defense again from Garner there. Sanchez off the deflection. Here's Garner. Nodi gets it back on the 1-2 with Lawrence. Garner looking for Hoops, and the pass a bit off. Coming up is Stapleton, who makes a play on it.
Yeah, Hoops was just trying to push her defender a little bit and win the ball, bring it down, but in the end she couldn't quite get on the end of it. That one rolled through, and more attacking pressure from Oak City, and it's been positive play as we go into this stoppage with the water break here in the second half.
So, with the temperatures at least 250 degrees, we're going to take a break and have a water break. Let's all get a beverage, why don't we? You folks at home, grab a beverage as well. We'll keep it right here. So, I told you the story about how I almost had a fist fight with a 300-foot snake in the first half. I'll tell you a little bit about my drive up here. I live in South Carolina, and it's about 3 hours away. Not too bad of a drive, but if I have one piece of advice for people on the roads, it's the left lane is not your personal cruising lane. You have to move over for people who would like to pass if you're going 45 miles an hour in a 70-mile-an-hour zone. But anyways, that's Interstate 95, and that's another story for another time. So I was a little frustrated when I get to the hotel. So I text who I thought was my girlfriend. Terrible drive, but I made it. I'm here. Just letting her know I'm safe. I'm here. I didn't hear anything. It's typical. She's working. She's doing something. I didn't think anything about it. 7 o'clock at night, Zach Burley texted me back. Glad you made it. So I accidentally texted Zach what was intended for my girlfriend, and Zach was nice enough to check in on me, even though Nicole did not. So thank you. Thank you to my intern, Zach Burley, for making sure I had recovered after my long drive.
Yeah, I know it's not easy having to go back and forth up 95, so I'm glad you let me know. I had no idea. I was just making sure, just in case. I thought, well, I figured, hey, it's nice to know that he likes me enough to text me and told me he got there safely, so I appreciate the info. I'm glad you made it up here safely.
Did you get the text at like 3 o'clock and think about it for 4 hours?
Yeah, I did, actually. I wasn't
sure. What am I supposed to do with this piece of information
something did
here?
seem a little off. But,
what kind of a relationship is this, ladies and gentlemen?
3 games in, I really wasn't sure what to expect, so.
I appreciate it. It was nice of you. So the water break is done, Zach, and at 2-1 here, Oak City will have about 20 minutes plus some stoppage time. Well, no, about 20 full minutes, because they stopped it at about the 70-minute mark, and it's only been about 2 minutes. It just felt like it was longer for the listeners at home who've been listening to my stories all day, I'm sure, but it was only 2 minutes. Looks like it's going to be a Rapids throw as we get back to action here. And the Rapids, as we mentioned, have not sat back. They have recovered after giving up that first goal. Oak City trying to get the counterattack going on the far side, but nothing doing.
And it was Gardner just having to plow through a couple of players there and try to get the ball past those multiple lines of defense, but couldn't quite do it as we see a substitution here for Oak City, and you can imagine that there'll be quite a few more of these more frequently as we move deeper into the second half and those legs get a little tired, cramps start to come up, so we'll see who it is that's coming on.
Ivy Garner will come out of the game, and Fernandez back in. Melissa Fernandez replaces Garner. Stapleton, top of the box. Lawrence applying some pressure now. Hoops. Over on that far side, it's Martinez. We saw a lot of speed from Martinez early in this game, but she's stayed pretty much on her line since then. 3-on-2 now for the Rapids. This is Quinn staying with it. Quinn leaves it top of the box, firing it. Sanchez into the back of the net. Giovanna Sanchez here in the 74th minute, making things now very difficult for Oak City as she scores.
Yeah, when the shot first came off, I thought it was going to go over the bar just from the height of the shot at first, and maybe that's not exactly what she meant for it to happen, but in the end it did end up curling in past Sagante. And it's a difficult one as the goalkeeper when it does come off like that with such an odd spin to make a save there. But as the Rapids, as you mentioned, they were not content with having the 1-goal lead, so they're back to the 2. Oak City with it all to do, just like we saw in last week's game with the Fleet, so we'll see if they can change the outcome and end up with a different result than what we saw against the Fleet.
Sanchez is going to be a freshman at Catawba College. Good D2 program, I believe. 4-time All-Conference at Hickory High School. And she scores here today to possibly close the door. So, if Oak City falls here today, how about the Rapids too, Zach? 4th straight road game and possibly wrapping it up with 12 points.
Yeah, that would be remarkable for them to be able to come off with such a good record on the road. It's not easy to travel, just alone to travel, much less to play a game after you've spent all the time on a bus or a van or whatever you've managed to get here on. And they've done very well. They've utilized the long ball, which Oak City has had a lot of difficulty dealing with. You've seen them play the ball over the top, and they just haven't been able to stick man-to-man with their attackers and keep them from getting in behind. But it's something that they've used to their advantage, and it's come off very well. I'm sure this is exactly what they wanted to come in here and do, is to go in, score lots of goals, and come away with 3 points. You don't see them as a team of wanting to score once and hold back. So they've gone to their game plan, and Oak City are going to have to find a way to construe that and get a way back into this match.
76th minute, no foul call there. They say play on, so Green looking for Quinn on the far side, and it's off the mark. Chris Sheeman, Zach Burley, and Kevin Gotuso. Glad to be with you here at Wake Med Soccer Park. Oak City United and Carolina Rapids here in the WPSL Carolinas Conference. Oak City winning their first 2 games. May 19th against Discoveries 4-1. May 20th against Lake Norman 2-1. Stumbled on Sunday against Charleston, losing 3-1. As Zagante makes the play there.
And I'm not sure exactly what it is, whether it's because Oak City is playing a high line, but it seems to me that when the ball turns over in midfield, that it's just 1 or 2 passes, and the Rapids are in behind the defensive line of Oak City, and maybe that's an adjustment that needs to be made or something, but it seems as though as soon as the ball turns over that they're one-on-one with the defender, and certainly been able to take advantage of it in multiple situations in this match.
Fernandez doing her part to try to keep things going, and a foul called on her as Robinson took a hit.
Late whistle from the referee, just having another word. Glad to see he's not brandishing any cards. That's the difficulty as a referee, is when you start pulling out cards, is that it sets a precedence for future challenges, one that you might not have normally given a yellow card to, but because you gave one to a similar challenge earlier, you're forced to. So good to see that he's just using his words rather than having to issue any cautionary response.
Flanders sends it forward after facing some pressure, and Lauren Griffiths sends it ahead. That time a foul on Carolina. So the Rapids committing the foul again. And now we got whistles all over.
Yeah, I believe he's going to call the defender in and once again just have a word. A lot of the times, as I know from playing as a defender, you would commit a foul and you just would kind of walk off and ignore the referee. You don't want to have that conversation with him, but a lot of the times they're very persistent, will continue to blow the whistle and motion you over until you do come over, and it's Casold coming back in, and of course she has the lone goal for Oak City, and she's just been a threat everywhere on the pitch when she's had the ball at her feet, so we're going to see if she can't come off the bench and make a real impact here late on.
Lawrence is off for Casold. Golden the free kick. Good ball into the box, and Clara Griffiths was off. Boy, that's something that'll frustrate you as a coach if you're Anita Rodriguez.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that you saw the Rapids doing, is holding a high line, holding their defensive line along the 18-yard box to try and coax some of those Oak City players offsides, and it worked to perfection there as we have a couple of substitutions both ways here.
It's always been a strong defense for the Rapids. They allowed 9 goals all of last year. 2 of those came against Oak City. Several subs coming in. Again, we'll fill you in as we go. Zach's doing his best with the binoculars, but number 5, Madison Hoops, coming back in for Oak City, and Kate Hickson, number 11, for the Rapids. Here in the 80th minute, so Things looking a little bleak for Oak City. They're still not out of it, though. You get a goal as quickly as possible here, and you could start the conversation again, but they need to start to get that sense of urgency.
Yeah, we've seen quick-fire double goals scored in much less than 10 minutes, so it's certainly not out of the picture here for Oak City to still come out with a draw and even a win if they press hard enough.
Trouble now because Givens tries to get there. 6 against 6 as Schwartz makes the play on it. Everybody remembers what Abby Wambach did, and what minute was that? 125th or something?
Yeah, it was ridiculous is what it was. So there's still plenty of time, and we'll have a few minutes extra, I'm assuming the referee gives them. So still plenty of time for anything to happen in this game.
The water break was about 2 minutes. There's been relatively little stoppage other than that and a few subs, which is good news, by the way, because no players have cramped up or anything. I don't know how, but it hasn't happened.
That's because it's not us playing.
Yeah. Quinn's back out there as well for Carolina. Robinson for the Rapids. Carolina, it's to Mozak now, and another stoppage here, player down. As soon as I open my big mouth, it looks like that's Martinez who's slow to get up for the Rapids.
And I heard the referees talking before the game about taking extra precaution to make sure that players aren't dehydrated, that if they see somebody go down to motion to the referee, they also have headsets on to wave the flag, something to alert the referee that whether they're injured or need a water break or something to get them off the field, because of course player safety is the first concern for the referee, and they've done that to perfection here. As you saw Martinez going off, whether that was an injury or what, she's back to where she can receive some attention, some water, and good play from the referees there as we get back underway with the drop ball.
Rapids trying to go quickly, and it's taken right back by Gardner with the Oak City trying to use that far sideline, but it goes out of play. You know what Buddy Ryan, the head football coach for the Philadelphia Eagles, used to do back in the 80s? He would give his team pickle juice, and they would drink pickle juice to avoid cramps, which is probably as gross as it sounds. Off the back heel, nice by Givens, but the defense again for Oak City was ready. I believe it was Lauren Griffiths who made the stop.
And just the tip, mustard works pretty well as well. So
mustard?
Yep. Get a pack of mustard, that helps.
So you get your mustard and you mix it into your pickle juice and you have yourself an afternoon on the town, ladies and gentlemen. Givens, Robinson on the far side, trying to run it down is Quinn. Golden comes to close, and it's deflected off of her, so the Rapids will take this corner here in minute 83.
And probably earlier on in the game, you would have seen that wingback there hit the ball first time rather than take it to the end line. This allows them to take the corner kick, run some seconds off the clock, and of course at this period of the game, they're going to have an eye on the clock to see how much time is left and see when they can, milk out the seconds when they can. So this is a good opportunity to do just that.
This time I believe it's Robinson who's going to take the corner kick, so we've seen a few different Rapids players give it a whirl. Robinson headed up by Sanchez, and that will be out of play. So Zagante looking to get the ball quickly, get her team forward as time becomes a major factor here in the 84th. That's over the head of Lawrence. Casold gets there, a little touch looking for Fish. And again, the Rapids send it ahead. It was headed by Givens, but Zagante makes the play.
And that's kind of what I was talking about. It seems like any time the ball turns over, when you look at the defense, that the numbers are even in transition, that there'll be 2 Rapids players for every 2 Oak City players.
Claire Griffiths with a great ball. Casold trying to get there. Tied up. Oak City stays with it, though. Here's Hoops with the little touch. Schwartz will chase it down, sends it into the box, a little bit away from Casold. Sent off, but Hoops gets there again. Hoops lost the ball. What happened there? It looks like Madison might have gotten hit.
Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. She's just holding her eye or her nose. Maybe she took a bump there and just let that ball roll out of play. Maybe she thought it did take a touch off the defender last. Either way, it ends up with the Rapids.
So for Carolina, 4th straight game on the road. They've got one more before they head to Greensboro and stay there for the rest of the year. Madison Hoops trying to run it down. Here comes Casold. And the Rapids looking strong right now here in the 85th. Schwartz, Casold. Michelle with the cross. That's going to be headed. Nice header by Fish, but it's just off the mark. A for effort, though.
Good play from Oak City in the build-up. Casold has really been playing as more of a central attacker in the striker's role, but from multiple times we've seen her get into the channels and get wide. That instance, she held the ball up on the wide areas and provided a cross when normally she'd be the one receiving the crosses rather than giving them. So she's an all-around player when it comes to the attack, and we've even seen her play defense. So once again, just goes to her attributes as an athlete.
Michelle Casold again from Hoops, and there's just 3 defenders around her at all times.
And she's appealing to the referee there for a foul, and it very well could have gone either way.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of borderline stuff has gone against Oak City today. I'm surprised that a couple of times there hasn't been some whistles. Overall, these first 3 games, though, the officiating's been a lot stronger than I'm used to seeing. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, the officiating has been very good, and that's the thing is it seems like in this game and the last one that 3-1 results aren't exactly reflection of what's gone on in the game. So if a bounce had gone the other way, the scoreline could be totally different.
Sent into the box. Lauren Griffiths tried to send it away. Sanchez is there. Sanchez made it 3-1 in the 74th minute. Ball sent to the box. 87th minute now. Zagante drop kicking it. Oak City in danger of falling to 500 on the season after 4 of the 6 games. And that'll be a foul on the Rapids. Rapids going to sub in a couple of players here. It looks like Martinez will come back. No, I thought she was coming back in. She is.
And this lets you run some of the time off the clock as well as constrict the momentum that Oak City are going to be trying to build. So use those substitutions strategically. Get some players in, give them a rest, maybe leave them on the bench for the rest of the match, and also try and hinder some of the movement of Oak City with these quick-fire substitutions.
Don't forget, folks, you can follow Oak City United on social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Oak City United. By the way, I'm still not getting a follow on Twitter. Just leaving it out there. So that's where to go. It's all Oak City United on all 3 of those social media accounts. They're still following you, though, right?
Oh, but they are. They are doing that for whatever their personal vendetta against you.
I get a little chippy on Twitter sometimes. It's my own fault. Robinson sends it ahead for Carolina. Oak City trying to get it back here. And Schwartz plays that out of play. 88th minute. Time winding down and things not looking good right now for the home team. Or will throw, and I know Jefferson was trying to go to that corner, sit on the ball, try to play it to herself, but hit it a little too far ahead.
And compliments to the Wake FC ball girls who are here today. They've been on point as far as getting the players the ball back, and that's exactly what Oak City are going to want. As soon as that ball goes out of play, they're going to want the ball girls to be giving it to them immediately. So yeah, credit to them.
Those girls are out there dying in the heat like the players. Hats off to them. You're right, Zach. I've seen it at the Division III and lower levels where sometimes the ball goes out and the ball girl, the ball boy is just kind of standing there and the players are yelling at him.
Yeah, but it can certainly be frustrating. Of course, there's all the conspiracy theories that at the professional level that the ball boys and girls are told to hold the balls on purpose and stuff like that. So good to see that they've done their job wonderfully here.
Never been any cheating at the high level of soccer. What do you? This is totally clean. Well, at least on the women's side, that's actually true.
Yeah.
Not so much on the guys. You and I like that Italian soccer. We know all about cheating.
Yep.
Here's Orr now. Zagante will try to send it ahead. 90th minute. Again, expect about 2 minutes, maybe 3 of added time. That was a nice ball by Casold. I thought it looked awkward. Ivy Garner's come back in trying to get a run on it. Ivy Garner's getting a good lesson against this tough back line for the Rapids today, the youngster for Oak City.
Yeah, and all the credit really goes to the Rapids defense. They've done wonderfully to shut down the many attacking options that Oak City has and constrict them to just 1 goal in this game when it very well could be 2, 3, or even 4 from some of the chances we've seen, especially in the second half. They've been flawless when it comes to the slide tackle and just, kind of suffocating that attack. Just as soon as anybody gets on the ball, they've got 2 or 3 people around them, especially when it comes to Casold. They knew that was a threat coming into this game, and they've managed to keep her only to just 1 goal when very well she could have had 2 by this point.
A couple almost. Fish, who has the ball, had a heading effort moments ago. Sent ahead for Hoops. Again, this is extra time now, expecting about 2 or 3 minutes, and that's another call. Going against Oak City. Yeah, Carolina's making another sub here, yep.
And if you've noticed in the last 10 minutes, it has been solely the Rapids making substitutions. But like I said, that goes into the strategy of using them at this point in the game, rotating players around and running some of that time off the clock.
So the Carolina Rapids, I don't think you can write a better script for their 2018. They've only got to play Asheville 1 time. It's going to be at home. And they're going to come out of these first 4 at least road games with 12 points. Unbelievable start for them. Oak City is certainly not out of it, folks, but the road does not get easier.
No, but
maybe next week it gets a little easier, but overall it doesn't get much easier.
Well, what it certainly will get is on the road, that's for sure.
Stapleton, just another clean sheet to her totals. Well, almost. At 3-1. This game was 0-0 until Megan Green in extra time in the first half made it 1-0. And 3 goals in the second half. Elena Jefferson for the Rapids in the 52nd. Michelle Casold in the 56th. For Oak City, scoring their lone goal, and then Giovanna Sanchez, future player for Catawba College, scoring in the 74th minute. And that's how things stand here in extra time. We're about 2.5 minutes in, so expecting no more than 3. But again, it's up to the folks on the field. Allowing a little extra time for the subs, as well as that about 2-minute water break. On the near side, running it down, Mozak.
Just taking into that corner flag.
Yep.
Smart play there when you're in the lead.
That is the soccer equivalent of victory formation right there. 50. We've played now 93 minutes, 94th minute. Looks like about a minute left. Or we'll throw it in no particular hurry, going right back to that corner as Zach mentioned. Oak City, nice job to take it away. Oops, trying to go quickly for Casold, who has been triple teamed since she came in at about the 70th minute. And again, it's keep away time for Carolina.
Exactly. They can afford to go back to their defenders and just wait it out.
So time has been called. 3-1 the result for the Carolina Rapids here today at Wake Med Soccer Park. Again, the lone goal for Michelle Casold for Oak City came in the 56th minute. And folks, don't forget, our next broadcast is coming up 1 week from today. We'll be on again on June 16th, 2:30 p.m., same time as today. as Oak City wraps that 4-game homestand against the Carolina Lady Dynamo. Looking forward to bringing you that one. My thanks to Kevin Gattuso. Kevin, if you want to wave to the folks, you can wave. That's right. The camera people are real people too, folks. Give them your support. Also, Zach Burley, nice working with you again, young man. We'll do one more together next Saturday. And for everybody who was watching here today, appreciate you. Glad to be with you. Glad we could bring you this one. Your final once again, Carolina 3, Oak City 1. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody.